Hey everybody, Mr. Beard here. And this video, we get the opportunity to do some sentence diagramming. In fact, we get the opportunity to diagram some sentences containing prepositional phrases. Up till now, it's been pretty easy going. We've had simple sentences with only one or two modifiers in each sentence. Now we start to get into a little bit more complex as we gradually work our way to grammar dominance. The thing I've always loved most about sentence diagramming is that you get to see how these words interact visually. I mean, it's absolutely clear how these words are interacting with each other. You know, I had a student earlier today say, well, this word's not really doing anything in this sentence. But that's the beautiful thing about sentence diagramming, is every word has a place, which tells you every word in a sentence is doing something. Every word has its role. Just like on a basketball team, you know, someone maybe not the star player, but they come in for a couple minutes here or there, and they contribute, they give a guy a break, they play some good defense. They have their role in the team, just like the word "the" has its role in a sentence. Because students struggle with prepositions so much, and rightfully so, prepositions are somewhat tricky. You have a huge list of prepositions that I can flash for you. But even then, even when we have this list in front of us, it's still kind of hard. You know, I've never memorized all the prepositions, and I don't expect you to either. I've got one mnemonic trick that can help you remember prepositions. After that, you may have to go look them up if you're still not sure. And that trick involves a cup and a ball made of rubber bands. Anything that I can do in relation to this ball and this cup amounts to a preposition. For example, I can put the ball near the cup. Near is a preposition. I can put the ball on top of the cup. On is a preposition. I can put the ball under the cup. Under is a preposition. If I got really mad, I could throw the ball through the cup. Through is a preposition. I could put the ball to the left of the cup. To is a preposition. I could put the ball, if I started taking the ball apart here, I could put the ball around the cup. Around is a preposition. You get the idea. If you can describe the relationship between this ball and this cup in one word, that word is probably a preposition. Okay, so now we know some common prepositions. Let's tackle them in a sentence diagram. Remember, as we learned with simple sentences that only use modifiers, the first thing you must do has not changed, and that is to find the subject of the sentence. If you can't figure out what the subject is, ask yourself, what is the thing that is doing the action? What is the thing that is doing the action? In this sentence, it's the dogs that crawled. So we know that dogs is my subject, and crawled is the action those things are doing. Now vice versa, if you couldn't figure out that crawled was your action, a lot of times I think students initially when they're trying to do this, they see at, okay, so the at's the subject. No, what kind of action? It doesn't tell us any sort of action that the dogs are doing, it just tells us where they are. So what kind of action are they performing? They crawled. So we know dogs are our subject, so I'm going to go ahead and write that in the subjects slot, and we know that crawled is my predicate. It is an AVP, action verb predicate. Everything else then is acting as modifiers to these two words. The first modifier is the word the. So I do my slant here. The is modifying dogs. And I have another one that jumps out right at me, another adjective right before the noun. Anytime you have words right in front of a noun, there's a pretty good chance it may be an adjective. So, small is modifying dogs. What kind of dogs? Small dogs. Now, that leads us to at the kennel. At the kennel, these three words are wedged in between my subject and my predicate. And I also know at the ball could be a preposition. So, at is a preposition. Knowing that, we've already said prepositions oftentimes lead off prepositional phrases that contain a subject. Well, this is clearly the case here. Since it's wedged between my subject and my predicate, it must be a prepositional phrase. So, at is my preposition. So I write that just like any other modifier on the slant line. Now you may have noticed I did something new here. Don't freak out. All it is, this slant is a modifier just the same as adjectives and article adjectives. I just added a spot for the subject of my preposition, because we know a prepositional phrase always contains a subject. In this case, it's the noun kennel. Now, what happens when you modify a noun? You put a slash with the modifier on it, just like we did for this noun. That does not change. The is still modifying the noun kennel. Nothing changed with that. So simple so far. That's what's so beautiful about sentence diagramming, is that you can see step by step, okay, the is modifying dogs. It goes here. Small, dogs, boom. That doesn't change. We're not throwing something new in. The is still modifying the noun kennel, and it still goes in that spot. Okay, almost done. Bear with me. 3 words left. Under the fence. Well, I've already said under is a preposition, because it could be under the cup. So it goes here. Now, anytime you have a prepositional phrase, you have to ask, what is it modifying? Is it acting as an adjective and modifying the noun? Or is it acting as an adverb and modifying the verb? Well, in this case, at the kennel is modifying where the dogs are. It's telling us which dogs are the ones at the kennel. And under the fence is telling us how they crawled and where they crawled. So, of course, it's modifying a verb, which makes it an adverb. So, of course, I put it under crawled. Now, fence is the subject of my prepositional phrase. The is modifying fence. And bingo bongo, we are finished. It's pretty simple when you start breaking it down. Now, there's a lot of action going on here with all this. I understand that. And our brain, when confronted with something new, wants to scream and go to bed and shut down. If this is happening to your brain, please feel free to ask me for help, and I'll gladly sit down with you during work time and go over this with you some more. If you're listening to this at home, it would be very beneficial to do some of these practices on your own as we're going through this. And I put some that you can practice online. Once you've mastered these, we can really start building into some really complex sentences. And you're going to be really impressed with yourself and how much and how well you know parts of speech, parts of sentence, and so forth. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.